I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get set for race number 22 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Under the lights at the Homestead Miami Speedway. In the first 5 seasons, we ended up having this be the venue where the championship was decided in the overall season finale. It got changed, got put to the 22nd venue on the schedule last year, but still plays a pivotal part into potentially who is going to be battling for the championship, as so far in the last couple of weeks we have been having some 3-time winners. James Qualls getting his 3rd win of the season, Casey Hoyt getting his 3rd win of the season, and most recently last week in Kentucky, Connor Breton getting his 3rd win on the season. Drivers definitely making the necessary moves that if they don't advance their way into the playoffs via top 10, they're setting themselves up to be in the number 1 or number 2 seed in the wild card spots to be able to make sure they're going to be in the playoffs this year. Some other drivers, though, they're running well in the point stands. They're still looking for that trip to victory lane. Other drivers, they're looking to solidify themselves in the top 10 in point standings. And other drivers, they're looking to either win or point their way up into the top 30 in the standings, so that way they can, for the next remaining 4 races on the season after this one's over, they can get themselves into the playoff conversation. Speaking of playoffs, let's take a look at those playoff standings coming into this race. This is after the fallout of Kentucky last week. Rob Evans, now the new points leader, 4 points over Casey Hoyt. So right now he would be in the number 1 seed. James Qualls picked up a spot on Jesse Turner. Dylan Pote a spot on Destin Bolin. But some names that popped up into the top 10 here after last week in 8th, 9th, and 10th. Keith Batson jumped up 5 spots to 8th. Dylan Young up 2 spots to 9th. And Caleb Fogler up 5 spots to 10th. Now Batson does not have a victory, but Dylan Young and Caleb Fogler, both former winners, now they move into the top 10. They are no longer in wild card positions, which makes things interesting as far as the 6 wild card drivers. Connor Breton, with his victory last week, is now up to 22nd in points. Obviously, with his 3 wins, he is the current number 11 seed. Highest of the wildcard drivers, Jessica Shelton picked up 3 spots last week to 25th in overall points, so her 2 victories have her in the 2nd wildcard spot. And then we only have 3 one-time winners in the top 30 in points, not in the top 10 in points right now. Levi McIntyre 12th in overall points, Will Goss 15th in overall points, and Zachary Fitzwater 19th in overall points. So by subsequence, the 16th and final wildcard position currently goes to the driver without a win that is the highest in the point standings, and that would be Reese Banks, who is currently 11th in overall points. The reason for this, Kyler Sustre has failed to qualify for the last couple of races, and Sustre is 36th in overall points, so his victory does not count towards a playoff position. Matthew Rodriguez, we documented his situation yesterday in qualifying. 2 victories on the year, but he has made only 15 of the 21 starts this season, 40th in overall points, and a total of 26 points behind the cut line. Now, he did qualify into today's starting lineup, as did Jordan Lopez. Kyler Sustre did not, so Rodriguez has a chance to move back into the top 30. Sustre is going to lose ground to the 30th in the standings cut line heading into next week at Watkins Glen. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But Jose Mills, he becomes another different pole sitter on the season, our 20th Drift driver to capture a pole position. And Jose Mills is one of a number of drivers. I mentioned this yesterday in qualifying. I think we really need to keep an eye on the drivers roughly around 14th through 21st in the standings, because there are a cluster of big name drivers that have not won yet, but if they do here this evening or down this home stretch towards the playoffs, they could be in the postseason. Chris Dollarton, Reggie Fogelman, Michael Norman, Carson Gum, our pole sitter Jose Mills, and Ryan Butcher. I feel those are some drivers to keep an eye on here tonight and in the remaining 4 races of this regular season, because they've got a shot mathematically if they go to victory lane, or they even have a mathematical shot of even pointing their way up into the top 10 overall stands if they hit a really good streak. They could be some last-minute additions into the battling for the championship. Matt Haas is going to share the front row with Jose Mills. Matt Haas, he's looking for some good luck to come his way after a decent outing last week in Kentucky. He is 29th in overall points, and he could potentially win his way into a wild card position. Remember, last year, Matt Haas, he was up there in the conversation for regular season champion, but did not have a victory. He ended up getting a victory during the playoffs, but already had been eliminated from advancing into the championship battle. He had a really consistent season. This season, it has been a struggle, but maybe they're starting to get things turned around. Then you got Dylan Poteet. He's going to be in row number 2. Dylan Poteet coming to this one 6th in overall points. Still got that victory earlier on this season at Darlington, and he's going to be alongside of Benjamin Miles. Benjamin Miles announcing that he's returning to Northeast Motorsports next season, and he's hoping that next season will be a far sight better than this one. Benjamin Miles is one of 3 drivers that are still full-time and have not scored a top 5 this year. Cole Deaver and Nick Gunther are the other 2, but good starting track position here tonight. Maybe Benjamin Miles can get that first top 5 of season 7, and then his teammate Reggie Fogelman is going to complete the top 5 in the starting lineup here this evening. Fogelman, I mentioned, is one of those drivers you got to keep an eye on here down this home stretch. He could point his way into the top 10 or win his way into a wild card spot. 16th in overall points coming into this one. Northeast Motorsports with some pretty fast Chevrolets, 3 of them qualified in the top 10 yesterday evening. But it's time to go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports. 75 laps await us here this evening at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Drivers, start your engine!
Let's go out there and have a good time today. Make it happen at the end, my friend. Big thumbs up here. You're ready to rock and roll. Good luck to you guys on pit road down there today.
Right side of your screen, you see your starting lineup for this evening's festivities. A couple of drivers starting towards the rear of the field. 2 drivers that come into this race battling for the regular season points lead. Rob Evans 4 points over Casey Hoyt. Hoyt did qualify better than Rob Evans. Evans starting on the final row. So when the green flag drops, Casey Hoyt via live point standings will be the new points leader, but a couple of other drivers could be in the conversation leaving here tonight with the points lead. Austin LaPlante's only 24 points back in 3rd. James Quall's only 38 points back in 4th. So they've got a mathematical shot of heading into Watkins Glen as the new points leader. 4 drivers in the field here this evening are former winners at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Our pole sitter Jose Mills is one of them. Kyle Matthews, Keith Batson, and Jordan Lopez, who's in the field tonight. 4th entry out of Blue Oval Automotive in a non-charter capacity. The former champion qualified his way into tonight's starting lineup. He was the inaugural champion at this venue all the way back in Season 1. Green flag in the air. We're underway at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Jose Mills leads him down the back stretch. Dylan Poteet trying to clear for 2nd, but Reggie Fogelman going to try to get to his left rear quarter panel here, going into 3. Side by side for the 2nd position as Mills will lead the first lap of the night. 3 wide further back there. Jesse Turner trying to make a move on Michael Norman, but that's all the way back around the 24th, 25th position. Now 3 wide, a little bit further closer to the front. James Qualls making a move on Chris Dollarton, who was 3 wide with Daniel Boyles, but looks like they've settled that out. Now RJ Bishop looking 3. Closer here to the front of the field. Connor Breton, last week's winner, put in the middle. Benjamin Miles right now up on the top side. Bishop's teammate, Destin Bolin there. Running in the middle line. Ooh, Connor Breton's car did not look happy in the center of that 3 wide. Moving back and forth and back and forth. The air obviously being disrupted when you're in the middle of a 3 wide situation. Ooh, got a car on the wall back there. That was Destin Bolin, and James Qualls was into his left rear. They kept it straight, but that's going to kill the momentum of both of those cars. Destin again looks like he's almost into the wall there through 1 and 2. Still handling race car for the Kellogg's Ford Mustang to start this thing out as 3 wide up towards the front. That's Reggie Fogelman looking low on his teammate Benjamin Miles. Matt Haas up there on the top, and RJ Bishop shoots up the middle, 4 wide, and he made that work. Holy cow! Reggie Fogelman's looking around. He lost 4 or 5 positions in all of that. Bailed out. I don't think he expected RJ Bishop was going to try and make that stick, but he did. Power move by the Advent Health Ford GT500. As now he's 3 wide for the 3rd position. Cody Lamas right behind him. Oh, got one in the wall. Couple in the wall there. Matt Haas and Connor Breton. Everybody trying to Larson line it here. Over in 3 and 4, but can't overstep that cushion. And Cole Deaver might have also attempted that high line and might have brushed the wall off of turn 4 as Jose Mills just keeps looking out the windshield, doesn't see the mayhem occurring behind him. Poteet still clear for 2nd. RJ Bishop not giving up. 4th position right now, looking for 3rd on Matt Haas. And ooh, Miles is in the wall. He's going to have a little seafoam green paint on the right side of his Napa Chevrolet. The outside line gets a lot of momentum off the corner, but you cannot overstep that cushion. It's Cody Lamas shooting up the middle here. RJ Bishop's going to clear. Matt Haas for 3rd. Cody Lamas now looking for 3rd position on Bishop. Poteet up the track, and he's going to get the wall. Well, that stalled a lot of his momentum, and they're 4 wide back here on the front straightaway. Sanford, Qualls, Fogler, and Lopez. Oh, they're making it work, but that 28 is really squirrely. Joshua Osborne has now made it 4 wide after Lopez completed the pass. Looks like maybe we can settle this thing out. Oh, not yet. Kyle Matthews sticks his nose in there. Sanford's into the wall. And we're settled back out to 3. Man, we've had a few occasions of 4 wide here in the early going. It's exciting for us up here in the booth and everybody watching, but I gotta think it's nerve-wracking for the drivers. Jesse Turner is now up here. 2nd place battle going on. Cody Lamas was able to get the runner-up spot. Turner now looking to take it. Cody Lamas in the Florida Panther colors, of course, a Florida native. Looking for his first win on the season is Cody Lamas. Jesse Turner, a former winner already this year, looking for his 2nd checkered flag. Jesse 5th in overall points. 2nd win would pretty much ensure that he is automatically locked into the playoffs. As of right now, we'll get to a certain point near the end of this regular season where we'll be able to start checking off drivers that are automatically locked in. James Qualls and Casey Hoyt are already in that category. Rob Evans comes into this race 114 points ahead of the cut line, so if he remains that way when we get to the 24th race of the season, he would be locked in. It'd be mathematically impossible for him to fall out of the top 10 in points. We'll probably get to a point, if they can continue to stay up in the top 30 in the standings, for Jessica Shelton and Connor Breton to have them locked in, as we've got a challenge for the lead. First challenge that Jose Mills has had all night since leading the first 12 laps of this race, or 11 laps of this race, I should say. Cody Lamas trying the bottom, but the Fords will gang up on him on that outside line. Cody trying to find his way up in front of RJ Bishop, and he will do so. And here comes Jordan Lopez in the 82. Oh, Bishop up on the wall, and he's going to start dropping back. I think his teammate Dylan Young was also in the wall there through 3 and 4, and that's just going to get worse. You try to run the outside line as the tires heat up, especially that right front. Car gets tight through the center of the corner, plows, doesn't want to turn, and you're going to be stepping over that cushion very easily into the outside wall. Now single file amongst the top 5. Let's follow back here, the 3 wide, where we see Anthony McCurry, Benjamin Miles, and Reggie Fogelman around the 7th position. Is where this battle is taking place. Oh man, we got more cars up there into the wall. A whole host of them up there in the wall there. Fogelman, Bishop, Matthews. The aero tightness, I gotta think, being in the draft of somebody too, is coming into play. Into a whole bunch of these drivers hitting the wall. Looks like there might be some damage on the right side of Laura Chung. That's gonna be another thing to follow up here too. If we end up having green flag pit stops, if you do brush the wall in this race, how bad the contact is, because if you hit it really hard, you may have to spend a little extra time on pit lane under a green flag pit stop. I also think we saw a couple of drivers get in the wall, and the drivers behind them have to check up. I want to check up here towards the rear of the field. Well, we'll check in a minute. We'll follow this battle for the lead. But I believe that Jesse Turner's teammate Casey Hoyt might have some hood damage, might have run to the back of somebody who was into the wall and had their momentum stalled. All right, looks like this battle is settled out. Let's drop to the rear of the field and look. No, I guess he's okay. Alright, I guess it was just the camera shot that I had of the rear of the field beforehand. Looked like he had front-end damage, but I guess that's not the case. Matt McIntyre back here, along with Chris Dollerton, Zachary Fitzwater, and Matthew Rodriguez, who needed a good run. I think there might be some right-side damage on his Steak and Shake Toyota. Yep, you can definitely see some visible damage there. Needed a good run here tonight to get back into the top 30 in points, and right now running in the 41st position. Well, how much on and off the throttle time is there here at Homestead Miami Speedway? Let's go on board with the hometown driver, the Florida Panthers Chevrolet of Cody Lamas. Heard him have to breathe the throttle there going into 3, and Joshua Osborne was able to pull the slide job, move into the 3rd position. Turner back for the lead on Jose Mills, who I don't think is going to give up the middle line. He's going to force Jesse Turner to have to try and make something happen on the bottom, which outside of a slide job, not sure it's necessarily going to work. Top 6 have been able to break away after 7th place on back. We're in the double and 3 wide situations. Jordan Lopez right now in the 5th spot. And Carson Gum right now holding on to 6th. Carson 18th in points coming to this one, former champion. Trying to make it both of the Fortnite Squad Racing Chevrolets advancing into the playoffs here in Season 7. Is Joshua Osborne going for the race lead. This is looking eerily similar to what James Qualls was able to do at Dover on the long run, being able to make passes on the inside line. He was able to work his way up there alongside of Jose Mills, but looks like he lost that ground through 3 and 4, and now Cody Lamas looked to swing around him for 2nd place. Charles Samper got a good draft off of Carson Gum. Got away from Benjamin Miles and that 8th place on back battle. Now he's up here in this lead group. Charles Samper, he's still got a shot of defending his championship as we're 3 wide for the lead. Turner, Osborne, Mills. Mills going to lead the lap and probably have the better line here into turn 1. See if Turner can keep it in the throttle, or can Joshua Osborne. They've got a little bit of drafting help behind them. Jordan Lopez in the middle line, Charles Samper on the bottom. This is going to be interesting going into 3. Oh, they're all sliding up. Cody's into the wall. Careful. and 4. I don't know if they were 4 wide or not. The one angle looked like they were, but I don't think that Charles Sanford was quite to the back bumper, or the quarter panel, I should say, of Jesse Turner. As Jordan Lopez is into the wall. Joshua Osborne's not going away quietly, still staying alongside of Jose Mills for the top position. But going back to the point of Charles Sanford, he comes into this race 24th in overall points. Easily with a win could get into a wild card spot. Believe it or not, though, Charles Sanford still, mathematically, could point his way into the top 10 in overall standings, depending on how the remaining 5 regular season races, including tonight, go. Mills continuing to run the line he wants to run. He'll keep the challenge of Joshua Osborne in his rearview mirror. Osborne going to lose second place to Jesse Turner. Going to be interesting to see when pit road comes into play here. Are we looking at a one-stop race, or are we looking at a two-stop race? If we're looking at a two-stop race, we could see drivers on pit road within the next couple of laps. Unless they want to run it as far as it possibly can go, we'll be keeping an eye on the numbers. And of course, as well, in typical mile-and-a-half fashion, what they end up having as a max for the amount of laps they can go on this run, we'll probably have to snip 1, 2, 3 laps off of that, because the field will more than likely get somewhat spread out when the pit stops are complete. He had a couple of cars in the wall that time off of 4, Carson Gum and Jordan Lopez. Some drivers are making their way up to the front here, getting into this lead pack. How about Kyle Matthews, former champion? Kyle Matthews coming into this one in the 34th position in the standings. Believe it or not, Kyle Matthews could wild card his way into the playoffs still. First step, he's got to get a checkered flag, and right now looking really good. Working his way up on that inside line, trying to crack into the top 5. Will Goss right behind him, looking for his second win in his rookie campaign. Right now in 7th, Austin the Plant. Looking to take that points lead from Rob Evans and Casey Hoyt here tonight. Right now he's up into the 8th spot. And how about Zach Rogers in the 6th? We've seen some flashes of consistency out of him in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Last week, not as good, but finishes have been a lot better than they have at the beginning of the season. And right now, he is the last car inside of the top 10 as things currently run. Jesse Turner bound and determined to get around Jose Mills for that top position. Remember, I ended up incorrectly saying that Jesse Turner, with his victory a few weeks ago, that he was one off from Jose Mills for most wins in the Duracell Cup Series, and that was incorrect. It was actually Ryan Butcher who is behind him, but Jesse Turner got one step closer, and if he were able to win here tonight, I think he then would be tied with Jesse Turner for second most wins on the season. I think. I don't know. I might be wrong in that again, too. I might be thinking of a different driver. Well, up here in your top 10 is, I think we got pit stops going on, and Turner's trying to get... Oh, no, there we go. Oh, are they going to save it? They're going to save it, but they were wrecking on the front straightaway, and drivers are trying to get to pit road. Oh, they're still wrecking. We got drivers think out of fuel. Oh, my gosh. James Qualls, Carson Gum, Keith Batson, Caleb Fogler further back, Reese Banks. Drivers were trying to get to pit lane, and they were trying to do so from the middle groove. And now we've got some damaged goods. As I believe the caution's out. Yes, it is. Wow. I think we got some drivers that are trying to get back to pit road that might be out of fuel here, too. Well, we had a driver that was trying to pit from the middle lane, and I think it was Osborne. Or maybe it was Turner. And everyone got all stacked up. As Turner was trying to make his way down to the inside, everybody was 3 wide and 4 wide. And just not giving room there on the front straightaway, so the caution's out. I don't know about those drivers that made it onto pit lane, if they're going to be on the tail end of the lead lap or if they'll still be on the lead lap, we'll have to wait and see. But Joshua Osborne, the leader after all that, he's going to lead them on to pit road, and we'll take the opportunity here to go back and take a look at a replay. These pit stops were getting ready to take place around the lap 29, lap 30 mark, so it says to me they're going to have to make one more pit stop for the conclusion of this race when we eventually get back green. But here's what went down. It was Jesse Turner that I think was trying to come to pit road, and I don't know if he didn't have his hand out the window or what, but Osborne goes to his inside. And then Jose Mills, I think, was trying to pit from the outside line. He gets into Joshua Osborne. And then you see everybody slowing here. Qualls is going to get into the back of Reese Banks. Then he gets turned up into Carson Gum, Keith Batson, Daniel Voiles involved. Anthony McCurry gets a piece. And further back there, you see on the top of your screen is Caleb Fogler. He gets spun around. It's almost like the 38. Because he was trying to come to pit road, he just stalled right there in the middle of the racetrack. Let's find the 28 car of Caleb Fogler. He gets put into the inside wall. Kind of hard to tell what was going on there with the 38 of Jose Mills. His car just, I think he was trying to come to pit road. Why he would try to pit from the extreme outside line, that's the first question. But the second question is, once he knew he wasn't going to make it onto pit road, why did he continue to decrease his speed? I mean, watch this. He's turning down, so he's trying to come to pit lane. Osborne's there. They had this saved, but then right here, oh, it looks like it took the car. Okay, so it looks like it took him a little bit of time to get that thing started up again because he had just been in the wall. All the momentum was lost. Well, that's a shame because it was going to be interesting to see how this whole thing cycled out with green flag pit stops. And now we're going to have, it looks like, yeah, there's some drivers that were on pit lane at the time that caution came out, and they would have been a lap down, and now on the tail end of the lead lap, behind the pace car, but in front of the new race leader, which is going to be Kyle Matthews. Cody Lamas will now be second, Nick Gunther third, Quentin Moore and Ryan Butcher going to be the top five. The drivers that find themselves on the tail end of the lead lap and will need a caution to be able to come back around to the tail end of the field are from 34th on down. Jesse Turner, who was having a great run tonight, Benjamin Miles, Reggie Fogelman, Casey Hoyt, Connor Breton, Matt Haas, Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Poteet, and Destin Bolin. That's some big names right there that are in danger of finishing outside of the top 30 if things don't change between now and the upcoming checkered flag. I mean, Turner coming into this race 5th in points. Dylan Poteet coming in 6th in points. Destin Bolin 7th in the standings. And, of course, Casey Hoyt battling for the points lead with Rob Evans coming to this one. Connor Breton, 3-time winner, defending winner from last week at Kentucky, needs points to stay ahead of that cut line. He coming into this race, I believe, is a total of 36 points ahead of the cut line. And I don't know if this is going to draw him back closer to it heading into next week, or if he'll be able to maintain. Of course, if we get a yellow, that changes everything. Tough break there as well for Matt Haas and Benjamin Miles, because they had good qualifying efforts. Miles qualified 4th, and Matt Haas qualified on the outside of the front row. Zachary Fitzwater comes into this one in the 5th seed for the wildcard drivers, 19th in overall points. So I think just about every single one of the drivers that is currently trapped on the tail end of the lead lap, there's some repercussions in some way, shape, or form to where they were situated or what's going on prior to the green flag here this weekend at Homestead. We gave you the top 5. Austin LaPlante will restart in 6th. Will Goss 7th. 8th is Rob Evans. 9th will be Jordan Lopez. And Michael Norman now completes the top 10. All 42 cars running after our first caution. 33 of them up here from the leader back to the tail end of the field. All 42 are on the lead lap at this point in time, but you've got about 8 or 9 drivers that are restarting ahead of race leader Kyle Matthews. So that will be something that Matthews, Lamas, Gunther, and others are going to have to deal with here, is the traffic that is up to speed. Kyle Matthews going to try and go to work on lapping some of these cars to the inside of Destin Bolin. As mentioned, these machines on the tail end lead lap are up to full song. They're not damaged and off the pace, and so Kyle Matthews giving up that optimal middle line opens up the door for Cody Lamas to swing around his outside. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Michael Norman in the wall back there. And Cody Lamas is going to clear for the top position. Look at them stacked up double wide ahead of him. The track's just all blockaded up for the race leaders. And they're almost 4 wide here on the front straightaway. This is for the 34th position. But these drivers realizing every position means a point, every point matters, and they're going to race it up, whether it's for first or for 31st. Cody Lamas now down the inside line, trying to find a way through this traffic. It's the inside of Destin Bolin, trying to put him a lap down. Meanwhile, Will Goss in the 11 trying to shoot up the middle here. Kyle Matthews on the outside line. This is for the race lead between those 3. Goss going to get alongside of Cody Lamas. Kyle Matthews trying to make it 3 wide down the back straightaway. Austin LaPlante right there in the conversation. There's Rob Evans in the 65, our points leader coming into this race. That yellow flag helped him out a ton because it's trapped his competitor Casey Hoyt for the regular season point standings lead at the tail end of the field. And Will Goss has taken the top position. 3 wide back here almost for second place. Ryan Butcher, Cody Lamas, and Kyle Matthews. Nick Gunther in the wall there in the 55. The caution helped him out to be able to gain track position. Gunther gaining 5 spots in points last week. Has a shot potentially to wild card his way into the playoffs, depending on what happens here in these final few races of the regular season. We're going to a road course next week at Watkins Glen. Of course, 2 of Nick Gunther's previous 5 victories have taken place at road courses. He's never won at the Glen, though. Will Goss is doing a good job right now with the traffic. He's gotten around Fitzwater, gotten around Matt Haas, gotten around Connor Breeden, and now going to work here on Casey Hoyt. He's put 3 lap cars between himself and Cody Lamas in second. RJ Bishop has now moved into the 3rd spot. We saw how strong that car was in the early going of this race, and now he's trying to make his way up here to the race lead. Looking to take second from Cody Lamas down the back straightaway here, and I think it looks like he's going to be able to do it. Now setting his sights on his Young Motorsports teammate Will Goss. Casey Hoyt in the wall there on the outside line. Might have stalled out the momentum of Cody Lamas a little bit. 4th place right now under contest. Michael Norman on the inside of Ryan Butcher. Austin LaPlante right there in that conversation also. We'll keep it up here at the front. Keep an eye on this 11 of Will Goss, who's on the bottom of a 3-wide situation. And right behind him now is RJ Bishop. He is closed in. Ooh, Michael Norman really sliding up the track almost into the driver's side door of Cody Lamas as he'll take the 3rd spot. Nose to tail. 2 race leaders, the 11 and the 98. 22 right there as well in 3rd. The 48 of Austin Plant in 4th. And then I believe the 5th place position right now is Cody Lamas, but Ryan Butcher is trying to get the inside line going to move up into that top 5 position. Slow car up ahead, and that is the 38 of Jose Mills, who is the current I believe he is the last car on the lead lap that was at the tail end of the lead lap here. And they are going to catch him here off of turn 2. He's going to stack up that whole outside line, which is going to hurt. I believe, who's the lead lap cars up there? Ryan Butcher. Kyle Matthews is stuck up there as well, so everybody trying to migrate their way down to the middle or the inside line to quickly get around. The off-the-pace 38, Jose Mills, who led 26 laps in the early going of this race. Almost kind of a diorama of last week, if you think about it. Anthony McCurry dominated the first half of our race last week at Kentucky. But a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops, or in the attempt to make green flag pit stops, ended up costing him a good finish. Jose Mills has the same deal happen to him 1 week later. Third place under contest. Michael Norman to the inside of Austin LaPlante, as a lot of our lead lap cars have started to work their way up here to the front, clearing the now lap traffic of 33rd on back. Zach Rogers now into the 5th position. Cole Devers moved up into 6th place. Good run there for the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. Rob Evans has moved into 8th place behind Cody Lamas. He's looking for a good points run here to grow the gap between himself and Casey Hoyt for the regular season points lead. Right now, Mitchell Collins in the 9th position, and 10th place. First time we've mentioned the name Ryan Brommer here tonight. Three wide. Rogers, Norman, Deaver. That's for 5th. Correction, 4th. Rogers looks like he may complete the pass here if he can clear up on the 22. Wasn't able to do it. They'll get the momentum on the middle and outside line down the back straightaway. Will Norman and Deaver. We've got a couple up in the wall there. Deaver and Lamas overstepping the cushion. As Will Goss continues to show the way. Will Goss picking up his first career victory at North Wilkesboro. Ironically enough, Homestead Miami was one of the 5 races last season that were the showcase races. And of course, Will Goss ended up winning the championship there for the showcase races. Got an automatic locked-in chartered ride for Season 7 at Young Motorsports. Got that win at North Wilkesboro, and now trying to hold off his teammate R.J. Bishop for his 2nd win of his career. They'll make their way around the slower machine of Caleb Fogler. Fogler now going to be a lap down. First car 1 lap down in the 31st position. Fogler came into this race 10th in points, had just moved back into the top 10 in the standings, so probably fall back out and fall into a wild card spot. So playoff points should get a little bit of a shake-up after tonight, heading into Watkins Glen next week. And remember, too, I'm pretty certain these drivers still have to come to pit road at least one more time. They were all planning on coming to pit road, it looked like around the lap 30 mark. They might have been able to save a little bit here under pacing, but I think you're going to see these drivers on pit road around the 10 laps to go mark here. And we've already seen drivers have some issues getting onto pit lane, leading to our first and up to this point only caution. Austin LaPlante, got to be impressed with the consistency out of this Chevrolet this year. 6 top 5s, 10 top 10s in the 21 races. Average finishing position of 15th and 3rd in overall points, but he's still looking for that first victory of Season 7. It has eluded him. And now, as mentioned, in that conversation to potentially be the regular season champion, which is valuable in terms of the bonus points you carry with you into the reformatted playoff standings. R.J. Bishop for the lead on Will Goss. Teammates side by side. R.J. Bishop is 35th in the point standings coming into this one. He would obviously have to work his way up through the point standings to make sure that his one victory, if indeed that's what he would have by the time we get to the checkered flag at Auto Club, that he would be high enough for that one victory to count towards a playoff position via wild card. I really feel down this home stretch, with especially the fact the last few weeks we've had a number of drivers get their third win on the season, that when we start to potentially get one-time winners here late in the year, we're going to have drivers inside of the top 30 in points that have a victory that I think are going to miss out. I think maybe one or two drivers that have a victory are going to miss out on a playoff position. As of right now, when we came into this race, only 5 drivers were in wild card spots via wins outside of the top 10, but inside the top 30 in points. We had one driver in Reese Banks that had pointed his way in at that time. But we'll have to wait and see. We know Kyler Sustre, whoa, that's close there for a second. It's LaPlante trying to side draft the left rear quarter panel of Ryan Butcher, but we know that Kyler Sustre, who failed to qualify, he will not be making his way back into the top 30 in points. Matthew Rodriguez is currently up to 16th position. Not sure if he's done enough to get himself back up into the top 30 in points. We would have to wait and see. Jessica Shelton's having a good run tonight in 12th, so she would stay in the top 30. Connor Breton is 31st, a lap down, but he had a bit of a cushion between himself and the 30th in the standings cut line, so I think he would still stay in the top 30 in points. And right now you got Will Goss out in front, so if Will were to take the checkered flag tonight, I don't think a lot would change in terms of the playoff grid. Will already was in a wild card spot coming into tonight. He was in the 4th wild card spot. If he were to win this evening, he would then jump to the 2nd wild card spot behind Connor Breton ahead of Jessica Shelton. As he makes his way around, another teammate there, that's Dylan Young in the 2 car, who's going to go a lap down here now. 29th position running for Dylan Young. Next couple cars they'll encounter would include the already lap machine of Jose Mills. Also looks like Laura Chung on that hit list in the 77. We've had an incident that has not brought out the caution, and we will show it to you via the NNSCRA split cam. No yellow, but Daniel Voiles is out of the race. Scored in the 42nd position to an accident, and there you see Ryan Brommer in the 87, 2 laps down. I think he and Voiles might have gotten together or something here, but it didn't bring out the yellow flag, whatever the incident was. As they make their way around the 87, RJ Bishop trying to take advantage of that traffic to take the lead from Will Goss. Goss going to block him and make the move to the inside to put Jose Mills down another lap. A lot of traffic that these leaders are having to deal with here. So we are nearing the end of this race. Drop back a little bit further in the field. Zach Rogers has now moved into, I believe that is 6th. His teammate Rob Evans right behind him, battling with Cole Deaver, and we've got pit stops. RJ Bishop has decided to be one of the first of the leaders to come in. Nick Gunther also on pit lane. There was some right side damage on his machine. But is the undercut potentially going to work for RJ Bishop? He comes to pit road along with Michael Norman. Looks like Austin LaPlante and race leader Will Goss elect to stay out an extra lap. As too did Zach Rogers and Cole Deaver, Rob Evans, and now the race leader Will Goss heads on to pit road. We're going to get to see the green flag pit stops under green flag conditions this time. Looks like everybody's going to make it onto pit road safely. Ooh, Quentin Moore. Little contact there with Reese Banks. Ryan Butcher, I believe, has stayed out an extra lap in the 78. So we'll await him to come to pit lane this time by. He did not lead the lap. Actually, Cody Lamas also stayed out an extra lap. And now he and Butcher, along with the lap car of Jose Mills, come into pit lane. So who does that cycle the race lead around to? There's the 98 of RJ Bishop. Let's follow him and see where he is in relation to the driver he was trying to run down for the race lead before the pit stops began, his teammate Will Goss. Looks like Goss is still going to come out with the race lead, and Austin LaPlante might actually have jumped RJ Bishop for second. Bishop is up to speed, though, here. Ooh, tried to shoot up the middle. Ryan Brommer kind of took the lane he wanted. Bishop's going to have a head of steam, though, here on the 48 down the front straightaway. He's also got a push from the 47 of the lap car of Jesse Turner. Now takes a look down to the inside here, off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Does not look like Cody Lamas nor Ryan Butcher were able to leapfrog the 11, so I believe that Will Goss will cycle back out to the race lead here this time by. Side by side for second place. LaPlante going to hold off RJ Bishop for the moment. Indeed, the 11 jumps back up to P1. Bishop now going to have a lap car of Jesse Turner between himself and Austin LaPlante as he cycles in third. Michael Norman right now in the 4th position, and 5th place is going to be Rob Evans. Another solid outing for the 65, who started this race from 41st. Nathan Ormond. Great run for him here tonight. He's currently in the 6th position. 7th place, Joshua Osborne. Looked really good in the early going of this race. 8th position right now would be Zach Rogers, who's kind of by his lonesome. And then 9th place appears to be all the way back here in Levi McIntyre. Looks like we had a number of drivers that did spend that extra time on pit road repairing damage. Nick Gunther, looks like he was one of those drivers. Quentin Moore as well. Those two were around the 11th, 12th position before the pit stops, and now they're in 31st and 32nd. Top 10 right now completed by Jessica Shelton, who's trying to hold off Anthony McCrory for that spot. Anthony got some front end damage. You can still see it there in the wreck on the front straightaway, and the caution is out with 10 to go. Yellow flag waves for the second time here tonight. What it's waving for, I am not certain, but I guarantee you it is not the yellow flag that Will Goss wanted to see, because that brings Austin LaPlante right onto his back door here for what's going to be a less than 10 lap shootout. Why did the yellow flag wave now is the big question. Second time the yellow flag has waved here tonight, and this is going to be an interesting restart because I believe all of the lead lap cars and the lap cars are going to be intermingled with each other. Let's go back and see if we can figure out why the caution flew. They're not showing anybody out of the race, though they are showing Dustin Bolin is 6 laps down. Not sure what's happened with him, the driver that was 7th in overall points coming into this race. He's still just sitting on pit lane. You guys will have seen probably what happened with him via the NSCRA split cam, and I'm assuming it was probably a pit road incident. Gonna time it right here at the moment that the lights come on the pace car. See if we can find out the reasoning for the yellow, and it looks like it might have been at the exact moment that the 12 is receiving service. Actually, this is an odd one. Let's see if we can show you here. Watch the moment that they jack up the right side of the Kellogg's Ford Mustang. I think the lights are going to come on right there, because there was not an incident on the racetrack to bring out the yellow, so I'm not necessarily certain why them servicing the 12 would have put out a caution, but it does, and it sets us up for what should be a very interesting restart here. It's been a night of young motorsports. RJ Bishop was trying to get the lead from Will Goss. Prior to that pit stop, they ended up encountering their teammate Dylan Young, who was playing a little defense for them, and here, a young motorsports car in Dustin Bolin brings out the caution. So the way they'll line up here for this restart, as mentioned, you'll have the lap cars intermingled with the lead lap cars. We've currently got 24 drivers on the lead lap. 41 drivers are still running. The only driver out of the race, Daniel Voiles. But the top two are lead lap cars with Will Goss and Austin LaPlante. Then you got the lap car of Jesse Turner. Then third place, RJ Bishop. Fourth place, Michael Norman. Then the lap car of Dylan Poteet. And then fifth place, Rob Evans. Nathan Ormond on the lead lap in sixth. Then the lap car of Laura Chung. Lead lap car of Joshua Osborne. Lap car of Dylan Young. Lead lap car of Zach Rogers. Then quite a number of lap cars between him and Levi McIntyre in ninth. Jessica Shelton right now in the 10th position. Before that caution came out, we were watching the battle between her and Anthony McCurry for that 10th spot. So Anthony will restart in 11th. Jordan Lopez having a good night here in his second start of the season. Currently in the 12th spot. Keith Batson's in 13th. Chris Dollerton currently in the 14th spot after he fell out of the top 10 in points last week. Cole Deaver right now in 15th. 16th is Mitchell Collins. Matthew Rodriguez in 17th. Charles Sanford 18th. Cody Lamas currently 19th. And James Qualls in 20th. The last remaining cars on the lead lap, Carson Gum 21st. Matt McIntyre 22nd. Reese Banks in 23rd. And Ryan Butcher in the 24th position. Well, we got a chance. Give you your lap leaders here tonight. Will Goss is about to get the bonus point for most laps led. When he crossed the line, he'll have led his 27th lap of the evening, surpassing the 26 laps led by pole sitter Jose Mills. 4 laps led here tonight by Cody Lamas. 2 laps led apiece by RJ Bishop and Joshua Osborne. And then taking 1 lap out in front was Jesse Turner. Reminder, next week, we're at the Watkins Glen International Raceway, final road course stop of the season for the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers. Laura Chung, the defending winner of that race, picked up her first career win 1 season ago. We'll see who's going to find victory lane here down this home stretch in upstate New York. Again, that next week. Flag at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, qualifying prior to that on Saturday afternoon. Lights out atop the Toyota Camry pace car, and we're getting ready to go back green with what will be 6 laps to go. Will Goss, really strong in the early portion of the season, got that checkered flag at North Wilkesboro. Last couple of weeks, though, he's fallen out of the top 10, has had to rely on that victory to put him in a wild card position. Came into this one in the 4th seed of the wild card drivers, 15th in overall points. Looking to get back to victory lane, trying to hit a good streak here in the home stretch of the regular season. Remember last year, the rookies were really good in the playoffs. Jack Dunnard, Laura Chung managed to advance their way into the Final Four to compete for the championship. Will Goss looking to join Casey Hoyt, James Qualls, Jessica Shelton, and Connor Breeden, as well as Matthew Rodriguez, is a multi-time winner on the year. Green flag in the air as Goss leads them into turn 1. Got himself a good jump on Austin LaPlante. LaPlante with a good gap back to Jesse Turner, the lap machine. Michael Norman diving it in deep there for 3rd place on RJ Bishop. Bishop trying to hope that Austin LaPlante will lead him around the lap car of Jesse Turner down the front straightaway. Will Goss has done a tremendous job here in his first full-time season. Remember, he ran part-time schedule back in, I think it was season 4 for TCW Racing. Locked himself into a chartered ride here this season with winning the Showcase Championship last year. No word on whether or not he's going to be re-signed with Young Motorsports next season or not, but trying to make this a season to remember nonetheless, as the gap he's been able to maintain back to Austin LaPlante. And now the battle is going to be on for second. RJ Bishop trying to make it a Young Motorsports 1-2 finish here. Running that middle line. Michael Norman's in the wall back there. Got taken 3 wide by Rob Evans and Nathan Norman, so he's going to lose a number of spots here in the closing stages. Bishop not able to get the momentum off of turn 4. Now the lap car of Jesse Turner keeps him pinned down to the inside line. Nathan Ormond closing in there, as well as Rob Evans, 65 in the 23 and 4th and 5th. As LaPlante has not been able to close up the gap at all of nearly 2 car lengths between himself and Will Goss. Will is hitting exactly the line he wants to run. He's got the clean air to the nose, which is prime here at Homestead. And he's seeing 2 laps to go. Rob Evans has now moved into the 3rd spot. Getting around RJ Bishop. He'll look to clear up here off of turn 2. Stays to the bottom, though, here behind Jesse Turner. Now he'll move up and keep the 98 at bay, who now moves down to the bottom. Nathan Ormond there. Ooh, 3 wide, almost looking forward with some lap cars. Matt Haas and Connor Breton mixing it up there for... Well, actually, that's not for position. Matt Haas is 2 laps down. Connor Breton is 1 lap down. Laura Chung there in the 77, though, I believe, is battling with Connor Breton for position. That would be for 25th right now, as the white flag was displayed for Will Goss. And he's got him stacked up double wide behind him. 2nd place under contest, Rob Evans and Austin LaPlante. But a lap machine between Will Goss and that 2nd place battle. Off turn 4 for the final time. Will Goss, what a season he has had. This is going to all but lock him into the playoffs as he takes his 2nd career victory here in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway. It's the 3rd win of the season for Young Motorsports. And we'll have to see if this moves Will Goss up to the 3rd seed, or I'm sorry, the 2nd seed rather, for the wildcard drivers, or does this move him back into the top 10 in overall points? What the rookies have been able to do this year has been incredible. We saw Kyler Sustre go to victory lane. We've seen Connor Breton go to victory lane 3 times. Now Will Goss has gone to victory lane twice. Casey Hoyt has gone to victory lane 3 times. That's 9 victories of the 22 completed races that have been won by drivers donning rookie stripes. Just shows the equality of how drivers can be competitive regardless of the skill level when you put the next-gen car into the equation. Rob Evans is going to grab 2nd place. Austin LaPlante will complete the podium in 3rd with RJ Bishop and Nathan Ormond, your top 5. So 2 of the Young Motorsports cars will finish in the top 5 here this evening, as standings should be official. 6th place is going to be the 6 of Zach Rogers, so some good momentum continues for that team that's been struggling. Joshua Osborne, another struggling team. Great run in 7th. Michael Norman, after we saw him in the Wall Lake, brings it home in 8th position. Levi McIntyre in 9th. So Levi potentially could be moving back up into the top 10 in points. He was in the number 3 wildcard seat, I should say, coming to this race. How about Chris Dollerton? Great run for him here tonight in 10th position. He could be back in the top 10 in points. And Jordan Lopez, the inaugural winner here at Homestead. Good run for him here this evening in 11th. If you consider it, really good night overall for Blue Oval Automotive, despite the fact that Jose Mills ended up having his problem with the green flag pit stops. He led 26 laps here tonight, had the pole position, and he got 2 of them that finished up in the top 11. James Qualls, good run for him there at 12th after he was involved in that wreck on the front straightaway. Don't forget, on the first yellow, he had damage this race. And the 3-time winner still brings it home inside the top 15. Jessica Shelton in 13th, so another great run for her, as she'll look to build her cushion even more between her and 30th in the standings. And then a couple of Fortnite squad racing cars, the Mazda of Anthony McCurry and the Chevrolet of Carson Gum, completing the top 15. Good run there for Anthony McCurry. I know it's not a top 10 or a top 5, but with the struggles he's had the last couple of weeks, he just needed a good run, and he gets it this evening. Mitchell Collins going to bring it home in the 16th position. We'll see if this moves him into the top 30 in points. He was only, or the top 10 in points, I should say. He was only 18 points below the cut line. Keith Batson, we'll see where he is as far as the top 10 is concerned. He was only 4 points ahead of the cut line, 8th in overall points, and he is 17th on the finishing grid tonight. Cole Deaver going to bring it home in 18th. Matt McIntyre and Cody Lamas completed the top 20, and then the remaining drivers on the lead lap: Reese Banks, Charles Sanford, Ryan Butcher, and Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez managed to finish on the lead lap, but I don't think that's going to be enough mathematically to move him into the top 30 heading into next week. And next week we've got Matthew Rodriguez and Kyler Sustre. They're going to have to out-qualify a number of drivers. The road course drivers are going to be back again that we saw earlier on at Mid-Ohio and Suzuka. Jesse Turner, first driver, 1 lap down in 25th. Connor Breton there in 26th. We'll see where the 3-time winner is positioned in the top 30 in points at the conclusion of this one. Dylan Pote down there in 29th. Not the run he was needing. Casey Hoyt definitely going to be losing the points lead by a pretty good chunk to Rob Evans at the conclusion of this one. Maybe even losing second in overall points to Austin LaPlante. We'll have to see. With LaPlante bringing it home on the podium, and he was only 20 points behind Casey coming into this one. So that could not be a good situation for the 3-time winning rookie, the rookie points leader. Caleb Fogler down there in 37th after he had just worked his way back up in the top 10 in points, so he'll probably drop down to a wild card spot. And Destin Bolin, who finished 6 laps down, came into this race 7th in overall points. He did have a pretty good cushion back to the cut line. I think he was 36 points ahead of the cut line. He might be near the cut line, though. Heading into next week, we'll have to wait and see on that as he finishes 41st, last car running. Daniel Voiles did not reach the conclusion. He had something happen that didn't bring out a yellow, and he was the only driver to finish behind the wall in the 42nd position. So the struggling year continues for last year's 2-time winner, Daniel Voiles. But Will Goss becomes the 5th different repeat winner on the season. Correction, the 6th different repeat winner on the season. Joining now, Jessica Shelton and Matthew Rodriguez as a 2-time winner, and the 3-time winners in Casey Hoyt, James Qualls, and Connor Breton. We're getting close to the end of this regular season. Drivers are starting to get those multiple wins, which is making things a little bit interesting in terms of could we potentially have a driver or two point their way into a wild card position. We had the scenario with Reese Banks. No victories, but in the 16th seed of the wild card spots coming into tonight's race. We'll have to see what it looks like for the playoff grid heading into Watkins Glen next week. But if you guys enjoyed tonight's race here from Homestead, if you did, be sure to give us a like. Subscribe to Hard Crew today. We've shown you full picture results, and now you're looking at the point standings, the result of tonight's race heading into Watkins Glen next week. Last chance for the road course aces to clinch themselves a spot in the playoffs before the end of the regular season. Until then, I'm Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.